Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be using our fine motor skills and eye-hand coordination to make two great dishes. The first one I'm going to teach you how to make is going to be sushi with seaweed wrap. Okay, so it looks like this in the grocery store. And then I'm also going to show you at the same time is another kind of roll, and this is with rice paper roll. It might be called spring roll, I'm not quite sure, but the packaging looks like this. So easy to find in a grocery store. But before we begin, we need to make our sushi rice, and that is one of the key ingredients for sushi. So you have to make sure that you use sweet rice and not normal rice, because the sweet rice is actually a little bit on the chewy side, and it actually has a nice texture to it. And what people actually do is they add some vinegar as well as some sugar. So now it depends on how you like it. So with us, we actually don't want too much vinegar, but we like a little bit sweet. But just to make sure that you don't pour too much in, because remember, you can always put more in, but you can't take anything out. So I have 1 cup of rice, and so I'm thinking that it should take about maybe 1 spoon of vinegar. Okay, and today I'm using apple vinegar. Okay, apple cider vinegar. All right, so just kind of spread that around, and then we're going to use sugar. Okay, so let's just use about maybe this much, half a spoon. Actually, my dad prefers it a little on the sweet side, so I'll just add just a little bit more. Okay, so what you want to do is making sure that I just cooked my rice before here, and that's why my rice is still nice and soft. But if you cooked your rice earlier and you notice it's just a little bit tough, that's okay. Sprinkle a little bit of water, put it in the microwave, obviously in a glass bowl, not metal bowl, in a microwave, and that'll soften everything up. And so you just have to stir it, okay, and see how it works out. So it's actually easier when you're trying to loosen up the rice, if you just push down like this and just get a little bit and a little bit, and just to loosen up the rice. Because right now it's tense, and they're all stuck together, and it's a little bit on the hard side. So just scoop it and push a little bit like that. And once it's all loosened up, then you can actually mix it a lot better. So make sure all the sugar and all the vinegar is all mixed well. Okay, now I'm going to get my dad to taste it, because I made this a few days ago and he said that it should have been a little bit sweeter. Okay, so Daddy, yeah, can you come over and taste the rice and see if I need to add a little bit more sugar? Try that, Dad. Come here, Daddy. Try a little. Okay. Here's my daddy. You just. Does that need a little bit more sugar, Daddy?
No, it's good that way.
Okay, all right. So what I ended up doing was probably 1 flat spoon, which is actually a pretty big spoon of sugar for 1 cup of rice. Sweet rice, don't forget. And remember, you have to wash your sweet rice, because who knows where it's been. So it's always good to rinse things out. Now that we've got our rice ready, and I think this should make at least maybe 2 sushi rolls, the question now is, what are we going to put inside? So the ingredients that I'm going to use today for my sushi roll, as well as my spring rolls, will all be the same ingredients, so that I can test which way is better. So what we have today is I'm going to make California roll, all right, and that is being used by artificial crab meat, okay, but I thought, hey, why not add some shrimp, jumbo shrimp, okay, as well as some pork. I also have eggs. And tomatoes, avocado, lettuce. All right, we have purple yam. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen this before or had it. It actually looks like this, okay? And it is very sweet. And I thought, hey, why not get some purple in my sushi. That would look quite nice. And then I thought, hey, since I'm splurging, why don't I also add this other kind of yam? And these two yams are actually very sweet. So it's going to enhance the flavors because we want lots of different kinds of flavors. Okay, and now we also want something a little bit on the salty side. That is also, I actually have some shrimp here that I put in tapioca powder as well as seasoned salt. And then I also marinated my pork, again with tapioca, but this time I used soy sauce and hoisin sauce. Okay, and also for the typical California roll is that they use avocado, they use cucumbers, which I don't have today, but they also use roe. This is fish egg, all right, and look how bright orange that is. Okay, but you only need a little bit of this. And then I thought we should have some red pepper and some orange pepper. So we will use different kinds for different things and just to see how my roll will look and taste. So let's begin. People have used the wooden wrap, okay, so that it's easier to help tighten the rolls. All right, but I actually prefer not to use it because I find this more cumbersome. I'd rather just use my hands and pull it. The key for sushi actually is making a tight roll so that when you cut it, that it doesn't all fall apart. But don't worry, if it all falls apart, you can always just get a spoon, put all the toppings back in, and then just eat it. It's all the same thing. Okay, now because the cutting board is clean, but just to make sure that it's really clean, I like to put a paper towel. Then I know for sure it's nice and clean. All right, so we're going to put down the sushi. Now what you'll see is the sushi has there's a shiny side and a rough side. So I prefer, I don't know which way it's supposed to be, but I usually put the shiny side down and then the rough side here. And now what we're going to do is now we're going to put sushi, we're going to put the sushi rice all the way to here, okay, because it needs to glue together as we roll. So what I like to do is spread it with a rice scooper, okay, because it's nice and flat and easier to spread. So this is 1 cup of rice, and so let's do half a cup, and let's just see how much it will actually use. I might have to use 3/4, but let's see how we can spread that. Okay, so all we have to do is just spread this all the way to the edges. Okay, be very gentle. Okay, nice and kind. All right, we don't want to smash our rice because then you're bruising the rice. All right, respect to the rice. Some people like to use their fingers, but it's so sticky, I'd rather not. Okay, but if you just gently spread it, it's okay. The rice won't mind. And then as you spread it all the way down. And now, when we cut up our ingredients, you have to remember that we're doing sushi. So for our ingredients, we want them nice and long because if they're all small little pieces, every time we cut, a little piece will keep falling out. So the longer, the better. Okay, so there, yep, but it's about a half a cup. And you don't want to go too thick, all right, because we're eating the sushi for not just this rice, because we could have just ate that straight, but also for the toppings inside. All right, so just spread it up like that. It should be good. I might need just a little bit on the edges, but don't worry, as we're rolling it, it'll all push to the side. Okay, so maybe to the edging here a little bit. All right. Now that the rice is all spread nicely on my seaweed wrap, it's now time to put our wonderful ingredients inside. So because I was making sushi, I cut up my yams in long pieces, but quite thin, because actually we don't want to be too greedy. If we put too many things in the middle, actually it's going to be very difficult to roll, and you'll see how quickly it can build up. So I'm going to try to make a nice pattern. So I haven't done this before, but let's try. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut this a little bit thinner, okay? And when I steamed this in my rice cooker, I cut a little bit on the thick side because I knew that when I would pick it up, it might break off. So there I go. I have 2 small pieces. Oops, that's okay. All right, and I think I'm going to do the same thing with my yellow yam. It's a little bit on the brown, but that's what happens when you cook it, but that's okay. So I will just cut that down the side, and you'll see why. All right. Now, my ingredients that I have is egg. I think because egg tastes great in a sushi roll. All right, so this time, because I know it's doing yams, I wanted to be a little bit fancy just to see how it would work out. And so what I did was I cooked my egg and made it like a pancake. All right, now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to have two kinds of sushis. So we're going to do one side, one white, and then the other I'm going to fill it with different ingredients, and then because I want to cut it to see how it looks. All right, so what I want to do is I want to actually wrap my yams inside of the egg, so it'll be a wrapped egg within my sushi. So I'm just going to make it like what I'm going to do is I'm trying to make a checkered pattern inside my sushi. So, and because I'm going to be rolling it this way, we want to put it near the top. But before we do that, I'm thinking maybe I also want to put some color on the bottom. So maybe that's why I have red. So maybe I would put some red down and some orange. Okay, and then I'll put that down on top of that. Okay, let's see how this all works out. Then I'll put my yams on the top of this. Okay, and it's just, I just want enough egg to wrap my yam, so that should be enough. So we'll go with that, and then let's put the purple back on top. Okay, this is you'll see what's gonna happen is if I cut it, it might fall out, but that's okay. All right, so we'll just do that. We'll break that off, and then we'll put this one on top. Okay, and then we'll wrap this, and we just want enough egg just to make sure that I can wrap it. Okay, that looks about right. So let's just cut that there. All right, so I think that might look pretty inside. And then what we want to do is, what else do we want to eat? So I'm feeling maybe we had jumbo shrimp. Look how big that piece of shrimp is. It was on sale today, so I thought, why not? I'm doing sushi today. So we can put that on the side, so it'll be like this. Okay, so we'll wrap it in there. And then we can also add some roe. So the fish egg actually is quite nice because look how bright orange it is. It looks great, but also it's because it's salty, because we need a little bit of salt as we eat the sushi. So we're just going to put that on top like that. Okay. And then and actually when you eat it, it has nice pop when you're eating. So it has great texture. I think that's kind of fun. Okay, and then so maybe that's already a lot. So for this side, that side is done. For this side of the sushi, I'll show you California roll. California roll is crab meat, artificial crab meat. They also put in avocado and cucumbers, which I just don't have today. You can also do spring onions or any other toppings in there. And then also, again, a little bit of roe. Okay. Now, what you'll notice actually is that this side is higher than that. So when I start rolling, it might be a little bit on the difficult side to kind of roll. So why don't I put in also some tomatoes, have it a fresh taste, and some lettuce. Okay. So that'll compensate for my cucumbers. All right. You want to make sure that your hands are clean. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to roll and pull, okay? Because we need that sushi to be nice and tight so that when we cut it, it doesn't all fall apart. And that will be the moment of truth. Did you roll your sushi properly? Okay, let's see. So we want our toppings to be a little bit closer to the front because I'm going to roll this way. All right, so we pick it up, and now as we're going to do it, okay, get your let's see how good our fine motor skills are. Our fingers are just going to gently push this. Okay, we're just going to tuck and make sure nothing falls out. And you see why I cut everything long, because if it was small little pieces, they'd be all falling out. But you want to pull towards yourself and then turn it. Pull towards yourself and kind of tuck it and pull toward and then roll. Okay, and then you want to push down a little bit. Okay, just to make sure everybody's nice and snug, everybody's having a good time in there. Okay, and we keep pulling. And now the sushi rice, because the sushi, that's why we use sticky sweet rice, because it's sticky, all right, and it'll keep our roll tight. See, look at that. So you can already, but what you can see, it's all uneven. So all we have to do, that's okay. We just kind of smooth it out a little bit, all right, and then we keep on pulling. And you'll notice if something starts falling out on the side, that's okay, don't worry about that, because we usually cut the edges to make it look clean. All right, and then there we go. So let's move that egg aside. Okay, and then let's just pull and just make sure. So be patient. Don't be anxious. All right, you see my potato already fell out. My yam, that's okay. All right, so make sure it's nice and tight. Better check, double check, right? Okay, now what's really important is to make sure that your knife is actually clean. And also if you start cutting it, you'll notice that the sticky rice will start to make your knife sticky. So then you should always get a wet, damp cloth beside you so you can wipe it clean so it won't stick to anything. All right, so let's see what happens. So just gently cut. You have to make sure your knife is nice and sharp. And you cut. Okay. So that's one piece. Usually the ends we just eat ourselves. Okay, that's called commission. All right. So if you see, my knife is just a little bit kind of sticky, but let's see. I think I can just cut a few before I have to wipe it. So just gently cut. All right. Okay, let's see how this is going to turn out. All right. Uh-oh, I didn't cut this all the way. Uh-oh. Make sure you cut all the way to the bottom. Okay, let's just double check on the cutting on everything. Otherwise, when you start pulling it, it looks terrible. Okay, because it'll start falling apart. Okay, I think it's good. All right, so here we go. That's one. Sushi is checkered. Okay. Now let's see. It looks beautiful, I think, but let's just see what my dad thinks about taste. Okay, let's bring him over. Daddy, can you please taste my sushi? Daddy, this one is a sort of a California roll.
Wow.
Look at that. Isn't that pretty, Daddy?
Nice, eh?
Okay, you can eat this one, Daddy.
Okay.
Try that one. How's that? Good?
I like it.
He says he loves it. Okay, we'll just wait for him to finish that one. See, it's pretty nice, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So,
sweet potato.
Yeah, that's sweet potato, Daddy, and shrimp. Jumbo shrimp.
Oh.
And egg. And red pepper and orange pepper, okay? Try this one, Daddy. And tomatoes.
Wow, this one looks better.
Thank you, Daddy. How's that, Daddy? Can you taste the sweetness of the potato, of the yams?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, eh, Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This one better.
Oh, my daddy says he likes this one better because of the sweet potatoes, because it's very sweet. And the jumbo shrimp. This one was extra jumbo shrimp. Okay, so now we've done that. Let me show you what we do for the next one. Now that I showed you how easy it is to make sushi, and I would encourage you to use different ingredients in there, try to make different patterns inside the sushi. Okay, it's fun and it's great to eat because of all the different kinds of flavors. So now I'm going to use some of the similar ingredients for the rice paper. So what you need for the rice paper is actually a big bowl of water. This is actually warm, hot water. Okay, because what's going to happen is once you put your water in the microwave and it's nice and hot, okay, or warm, at least very warm, you're going to take one of the rice paper wraps and you're going to dip it inside. Okay, so you want the bowl to be as big enough to actually get this all wet. If it's a small bowl, that's okay, because then you can just roll it around and get it all wet. So the point is, when you do that, you also need a plate, because once we pull this out, we need to put it on the plate. Okay, so let's dip away. Dip it, dunk it. Okay, and be very careful because it's actually very fragile, but once it starts getting wet, you'll see it'll start to soften up. Now don't be so quick to pull it out because it needs to soak and get kind of soft. And you can just see here, it's already getting soft here. Okay, but make sure it doesn't fall over on top of each other because it's very sticky. Okay, once you feel that it feels a little bit on the soft side, okay, and you just want to kind of make sure it's all soaked, pull it up like this, kind of like shaky, right? We don't want it all watery. And don't worry if it's starting to fold a little bit. It's never too late. Okay, okay. And then what you want to do is put it on your plate. So that's what we have, a plate here. Okay, make sure it's all flat and then put it down. And guess what? We're almost done. All right, so let's use kind of similar ingredients. But for the spring roll, it's way more forgiving than the sushi because it doesn't have to be super tight. And also what people like to do is actually put lettuce. And that's why I cut a lot of lettuce here because it's nice and fresh. Okay, now the key to this, and when you're eating it, you don't want all your toppings to fall out. And sometimes some of the ingredients might be a bit wet and also be dripping all over the place. So what we're going to do is when we end up filling up our wrap, we're going to actually take the bottom and we're going to fold part of it over. So we don't want the toppings to be any lower than here. So leave at least 1/5 so that later on when we pull it, we're going to pull it up to fold so nothing comes out. We don't want to lose anything. So there we go. People also use noodles, rice noodles, but I actually don't like rice noodles because there's no real taste and I think it's just a way for them to bulk things up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, when I cut the egg, for this one, I actually cut the eggs in strips. All right, so we're going to do that. Okay, again, let's try to put some purple yams. Okay. And then we're going to put a strip of the other yam. Now this time around, what I have is actually pork. I actually marinated this pork, don't forget, with tapioca, pan fried it, and now it's ready to cut because I'm not going to put that big piece because that's just too big and it's too overpowering. We want a complexity of flavors, right? But we don't want one thing overshadowing another. So what we're going to do is, ooh, nicely cooked. All right, we just want nice thin strips, okay, of pork. All right, and then we're just going to add a few strips. And you can just see already that this is actually getting pretty big. It's going to be very delicious. Okay, so then I want to put some red pepper. Okay, some orange pepper. Okay, I already have salt in there, so I don't need the eggs. The eggs is really more for sushi. Okay, my dad's not really big on crab meat, but if it was for me, I would actually put crab meat in there. And then remember, my daddy said he liked the other shrimp, the other sushi because of the shrimp. So let's give him the shrimp. And also I forgot to tell you, the way I would cut the shrimp is because when I pan fry, because we want it nice and flat, I actually cut the shrimp on the sides and then split it down the middle so that it's nice and flat. Okay, that way it's a lot easier. Okay, it looks a lot nicer to actually put in the roll. Okay, so there we go, 1 shrimp. And we can give my daddy a shrimp and a half. That's okay. We can put 2 shrimp. 2 shrimps will fit. Okay. It was also marinated in tapioca to cut a little bit of tapioca because you don't want it too gooey to keep the flavors in. And I use seasoned salt. That's actually a nice flavor. Okay. What else do I want? I think I have tomatoes. I have quite a bit. All right. So now now it's time to wrap. Now what we do is we're going to pick up the bottom part and it's actually a little bit stretchy, but you have to be very careful because it can break. But if it breaks, that's okay. Just get another one and wrap it twice. So we pick it up and then we just go like this. Okay. And then we will pick up the other side. It's a little sticky, and then actually we want to roll it and pull a little bit, but not too hard. Okay. And then again, we want to tuck it a little bit. Okay. Pull it towards you. Tuck and pull. Tuck it, pull it, and roll it. Tuck it, roll it, roll it. Now you can start to see it's getting a little bit broken because I put too much in there. I was too greedy, and also I pulled too hard. But that's okay. I can also get another one, or I can just hold it. It won't fall out there. And then all you have to do is like that. And you see, it's all sticks together, and that's all ready to go. Now, let's get my daddy to come and try it. See? There we go. Nothing falls out because I tucked the bottom. And now here comes my daddy. Okay, Daddy, come try my spring roll. And see how beautiful my spring roll looks. Okay, Daddy, with a nice big shrimp for you.
Wow, looks good.
How's that, Daddy? Do you like it?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
My daddy likes it.
Fresh.
Which one's better though, Daddy? This one or sushi? Come back here, Daddy. Which one's better? Sushi or this? Spring roll. Hard to say because they're both super delicious. Okay, there you go. And that's what it looks like. All right, so I encourage you to just find lots of different ingredients. The great thing is if you say you have lots of leftovers, a little this, a little that, then all you need to do is just get a spring roll, wrap, put it down, and then just put a whole bunch of stuff in there. It doesn't matter. So if you have little pieces of, a little piece of meat, some vegetables, or all kinds of vegetables, not a problem. It's fun to eat, and it's a great way to eat vegetables. Now remember though, if you're just only going to use vegetables, and let's just say you're a vegetarian or you just don't feel like protein today, these vegetables need just a touch of salt. So either you put some kind of sauce in or dressing inside your wrap, or a very, very fine sprinkle, okay, of salt. All right, and then it's going to just heighten the flavors and promote all those delicious tastes. Okay, happy rolling. Okay, thanks.